These are the stories topping the news. Public servants get second portion of salary increase in January. There is a new High Court judge in Nevis. At least 5 killed in St. Vincent bus tragedy, and Al-Qaeda issues new terror threat. Welcome to ZIZ's Midday Newscast for today, Tuesday, January 13th, 2015. I am JD Keynes. Now for the news in detail. Public servants will be starting off 2015 with bigger paychecks when a 3% pay increase takes effect this month. The 3% hike is part of a 10% increase spread over 3 years, announced in December 2013 by Prime Minister the Right Honorable Dr. Denzil L. Douglas. Public servants received a 4% increase in January 2014. An additional 3% is due on January 20th, 2015, and the other 3% will be paid in January 2016. Government auxiliary workers also received a 10% increase spread over 3 years and will also receive an additional 3% in January this year and a further 3% in January 2016. Public officers and persons in the People Employment Program PEP also received an extra month's salary in December. Public officers will be paid on January 20th and pensioners on the 21st. Justice Lorraine Williams is the new resident High Court judge for Nevis. Deputy Governor General His Honor Eustace John swore in Justice Williams at his Bath Plain office on Monday. Justice Williams told the Department of Information on Nevis that she was honored to be appointed by the Honorable Chief Justice of the Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court, ECSC, to fill the position on Nevis. She gave her commitment to serve with fairness. The Deputy Governor General used the opportunity to congratulate Justice Williams on her appointment and wished her a long stint in the new position on Nevis. Chairperson of the governing St. Kitts Nevis Labour Party SKNLP, the Honourable Marcella Liebert, has condemned a statement by pro-unity supporter on Win FM, which called for the brutal assassination of Nigerians who vote in the upcoming St. Kitts and Nevis general elections. Ms. Liebert noted that under the Federation's independence constitution, all Commonwealth nationals are eligible to be registered to vote, provided they reside in St. Kitts and Nevis for 12 months. She said the Nigerian students have been targeted and intimidated to prevent them from voting. In a recent radio interview, Minister Liebert said on behalf of the people of Constituency 2 and the Labour Party, she condemns that statement that was made on and all forms of violence in the country. She called on all politicians to speak out against violence generally and against political violence specifically. Liebert issued an appeal to all voters to exercise your right to vote without fear. And finally, on the local scene, the St. Kitts Nevis Labour Party's candidate for Constituency 7, Dr. Vance Gilbert, says there are clear differences between his leadership style and that of the People's Labour Party's Honourable Dr. Timothy Harris. Speaking on another radio station this morning, Tuesday, Dr. Gilbert said his style is one of inclusion.
But I am not into this divisive politics. I believe that everybody is somebody and everybody must have an opportunity to be part of what we're doing.
Dr. Gilbert says he maintains cordial relationships with the entire constituency he is seeking to represent. He said, however, that the same cannot be said for Dr. Harris, who has served as parliamentary representative for that area for more than 10 years.
One of the things that you would notice very quickly in constituency number 7 is the way that I deal with each and every one. You would find that I talk with everybody, even those who don't support me. Mm-hmm. And even those persons who are close around him. I mean, they and I get along quite well. Mm-hmm. As compared to him, I mean, the people who are in my camp and who are close to me, he wouldn't speak to them. Mm-hmm. This is the man who is vying to be Prime Minister. And as soon as he knows that you're close to baby, you're close to Dr. Vance Gilbert, he stops speaking to you.
Dr. Vance Gilbert. Regionally, at least 5 children have died following an accident that occurred shortly before 7 a.m. on Monday in the northeast of mainland St. Vincent. 17 people were reportedly traveling in a minivan owned by the Apostolic Faith Church, carrying school children from the northernmost village of Fancy to Kingstown, the capital city, when it ran off the road and plunged into the sea in an area known as Rock Gutter. 16 children were on board, most of whom were from the North Union Secondary School and 2 from the Georgetown Secondary School. 2 of the students reportedly made it back to shore and called for help. Police and Coast Guard were on the scene and ambulances were dispatched from the capital to assist. However, rough seas have been hampering efforts to retrieve bodies from the water. Crisis centers have been set up in Kingstown and in the north of the country. A Guyanese woman who attempted to smuggle cocaine to Barbados pleaded for mercy when she appeared before the court on Monday. She said she wanted the money to provide for her 5-year-old daughter. Ralston Elliott has that story.
A mother of 1 was today sentenced to 3 years imprisonment after she pleaded guilty to the charge of possession of narcotics for the purpose of trafficking. 24-year-old Althea Candace Timmerman was nabbed with 1.134 kilograms of cocaine just before she boarded a flight at the Ogle Airport for Barbados Saturday last. Ranks of the Customs Anti-Narcotics Unit found the cocaine in a false bottom of her suitcase. Special Prosecutor Oswald Masai told the Georgetown Magistrates Court that Timmerman was given the cocaine by an individual she met and was offered US $3,000 to take the drugs to Barbados. The woman told Chief Magistrate Prasu Narayan Bihari that she only accepted the offer to take the drugs because of the money she could gain in raising her 5-year-old daughter. Timmerman worked as a receptionist. She begged the mercy of the court. The Chief Magistrate decided on a fine of $30,000 along with a sentence of 3 years behind bars.
Internationally, Al-Qaeda in the Islamic Maghreb, the terror group's North African branch, has issued a warning published on jihadist websites. Here's more in the CNN report.
France on its highest alert this morning amid new terror threats. Al-Qaeda's North Africa branch, AQIM, Al-Qaeda in the Islamic Maghreb, released a statement on a jihadist website overnight, reading in part, "As long as its lame media continues to undermine our Prophet Muhammad, France will expose itself to the worst and more." On the ground, a continuous show of force. 10,000 French soldiers and 8,000 police on patrol across the country. This while the Associated Press reports up to 6 terror suspects involved in last week's terror rampage may still be at large. Spokesman for both the Paris prosecutor's office and the French National Police expressed surprise at this report that cites unnamed French police.
All our security forces and intelligence agencies are now focused to track those guys, and now it's a race against the clock.
The search continues for the one confirmed suspect, the girlfriend of kosher grocery store attacker Amadi Koulibaly. Koulibaly was on a U.S. terrorist database. New surveillance video captures Ayet Boumediene with an unknown man at Turkish passport control after arriving at Istanbul's airport from Madrid 5 days before the Paris attacks. Unconfirmed tweets from jihadist groups say Boumediene is now in ISIS-controlled territories in Syria. Meanwhile, as survivors heal, tales of heroism emerge from the 3 days of terror that left 17 people dead. This man, a store clerk, hid hostages, including a 2-year-old child, in the freezer during the siege on the kosher market, possibly saving their lives.
In Kenya, old car tires that are usually thrown away are earning entrepreneurs money, and it's a business that's also helping to save the environment. Al Jazeera's Haru Mutasa reports from the Kenyan capital, Nairobi.
To some people, old car tires are just rubbish, but these Rastafarians in Kenya see an opportunity. They peel off the parts they need, then start making their creations. Kennedy Jordan applies the glue, then cuts the tire into what will eventually become a sandal.
The shape you want.
Even the straps are made from the rubber. This makes sure they stay in place.
So we as Rasta, with the little knowledge that we have got from the institutions of learning, we realize that for our generation also to benefit and not to suffer, it is good that we become part of that solution through recycling things like tires.
The shoemakers say it takes about an hour to make one pair of sandals.
The sandals are sold outside the workshop and they come in different sizes and designs. You've got the more elaborate ones with the hand-woven straps with beads on them, and then you've got ones with the Kenyan flag, some with the Rastafarian theme, and the more basic ones, the cheaper ones, go for $5.
Recycling old car tires isn't just creating employment for the poor, it's good for the environment. Rubber tires are not biodegradable. People seem fascinated that something they usually just throw away can be drastically reinvented.
They are long-lasting, comfortable and light.
These sandals are much cheaper here than at the local store, but Frederick Mondai still wants to haggle and pay even less. $10 instead of $15. He really wants these.
I think they are making good use of the resources available to make durable and affordable sandals.
Kennedy and his friends hope to one day sell their products across Kenya and abroad. Their message to anyone looking to get rid of their old tires: they may no longer be good enough for your car, but they could look great on you. Harumatasa, Al Jazeera, Nairobi.
And now for the weather. Today's skies will be partly cloudy with light showers. Temperatures will reach a high of 28 degrees and a low of 23 degrees, with winds blowing from the east-northeast at 6 miles per hour. This evening we'll see light showers as well, and sunsets will be at 5:56 p.m. And that's it for ZIZ's Midday Newscast. Join us at 6:30 on radio and 7 p.m. on Channel 5 for the major news presentation. I have been your presenter, JD Keynes. Thanks for joining us. Have a great afternoon.